It is such a beautiful day that I figured I would just come out here and try to explain to you guys what you just saw. The reason it's called the Hanley program is because it was founded by Dr. Hanley. It's something that works really well for Kaidale. Kaidale's always been the type of kid that really struggles with rigid behaviors. He gets a lot of anxiety about having to break his routine or just his train of thought and, you know, what he's in the middle of doing. It's been really hard between his rigid behaviors and his communication barrier to get him to engage in activities within the classroom or, you know, in therapy in order for it to be as productive as possible. It's something he struggles with. He hasn't always been super easy breezy and laid back. And this program has really helped him to kind of become more laid back. So the whole purpose of the program is to kind of desensitize him to the word no, or desensitize him to, you know, being able to break him away from whatever it is he's doing without it being, you know, the end of the world. Okay, I'm just gonna explain it. So we start with a functional response. So the whole point of the exchange, I stand up, I clap. That kind of gives him a heads up. Hey, I'm about to change things up. I'm about to, you know, interrupt whatever it is that you're doing, that you're happy doing, whether it's watching a tablet or playing with your blocks or whatever it is you're doing. I'm standing up, I'm clapping my hands. That's letting you know that I'm about to intervene and I'm about to, you know, disrupt whatever it is you're doing. So it kind of gives him that heads up. And then it also cues him to ask for my way, because the thing is we don't want to just be dictators. We don't want to just, you know, you have to come to the table because I said so. It gives Kaidale the opportunity to ask for my way, and that's what you heard him asking for. Perfect. Yeah, you can have my way. Perfect. So the functional response is just me standing up, clapping my hands, stepping in. He says my way, which is him asking for my way. We hold our hands together, and that lets him know, like, I'm acknowledging that you're asking for my way. I'm going to give you a response. You don't know what that response is going to be, because that's the beauty of the program, is we just totally change things up, and that kind of allows Kaidale to become more flexible to accepting that response. So hold my hands, and then the functional response is, yeah, you can have my way. Go ahead, go back to doing what you're doing, no big deal. And then the next one would be a tolerance response. So he has to tolerate hearing no. So I stand up, clap my hands to let him know, hey, I'm about to enter into what you're doing. I'm about to, you know, distract you from whatever you're doing. Just heads up, I'm coming in. And then he hears the clap, he says, you know, my way, asks for my way, and I say, no, not right now. Fist bump, that's him saying, okay, I'm accepting that no, I'm accepting that answer. And the tolerance response would be just him hearing the word no, just getting familiar with hearing the word no, and it not being a really catastrophically negative thing. It's okay to be told no. So as long as he gives that tolerance response of like, okay, you know, I'm hearing you say no, Mom, I'm accepting that. And then I say, hey, go ahead, go back to my way.
When you
No, not right now. Okay. All right, you can have my way. Good job. You know, that's the whole point of that next step, is just, you know, introducing the word no and it not being a big deal. So he's learning to tolerate that. So then the next step would be a cab 1, which is, you know, I stand up, clap my hands, I'm coming in. He looks at me, he says my way, asking for my way. And I say, you know, the reason I hold my hands is I'm acknowledging that, you know, I hear you say my way, we're connecting. I acknowledge, I'm not just going to ignore what you're asking me. I acknowledge you want my way. And then the cab 1 would be me saying, it would be an extension of the tolerance response. So I say, no, not right now. We fist bump, he accepts it, he accepts that no. So whatever it is he's doing, I'm going to require him to give it up. So So stand up, clap, I'm coming in. He says my way. I say, no, not right now. We fist bump, we say okay about it, and then I say, okay, hand me your tablet. He gives me the tablet, he gives it up, and then I give it back and say, hey, good job, you can have my way back. So that's allowing me to kind of gain some control, and it's allowing him to accept that he's giving it up. He's giving up control. He's hearing the word no. I'm intervening into his bubble, and it's not the end of the world. He's gonna get it right back. And we just mix things up once, you know, he has been trained on these things, so we just kind of mix them up so that he doesn't know exactly which one's coming next, and that allows for more flexibility, and then it just builds on from there. No, not right now. Okay, let me see the tablet. Thank you, sir. All right, will you stand up? Hey, good job. You can go back to my way. You can have your tablet back. Okay, so I got some really good questions about the program in the last vlog that I posted, and I wanted to just kind of clear them up because they're really good questions. So one of them was, what would you do if Kaidale did not give over the tablet? So there's two answers to that question. So if we see any sort of hesitation from Kaidale, you know, not wanting to relinquish control, which in that case was the tablet, number one, that would cue us that he's struggling a little bit with the trials, so we need to give it some more time in between trials, because the goal of coming in and starting these trials is that Kaidale needs to be in HRE, and HRE is happy, relaxed, and engaged. So he has to be zen. You know, he can't already be aggravated with something else that may or may not be going on. He can't be, you know, amped up in any sort of a way. He has to be happy, relaxed, and engaged. And if he is, then we can go in and do one of the trials. So that will give us a, you know, if he's struggling with the trials, that will give us a clue of, okay, maybe we need to give it a little bit more time in between trials. So we would also prompt my way if he, you know, if I go in for the trial. It is so loud out here right now, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. It's crazy loud right now. It's windy. There's a lot of traffic. So if I go in, you know, I clap, I'm coming in, and Kaidale is, you know, whining, or he knows it's coming and he doesn't, and he starts, you know, covering the tablet, he doesn't want to give it up, then what I would do is I would prompt my way. So I would say, you know, to prompt it, and then that triggers him, oh, I can ask for my way. So he would, you know, say my way. I would, yeah, you can have my way, no problem. Because we want to teach him the tool of being able to use my way. We want to teach him that you can ask for it, you can ask for something, rather than just getting upset and frustrated. Because the thing is those, you know, that frustration for Kaidale, historically, it escalates and it leads to much bigger and more destructive behaviors. So that's kind of one of the main purposes of this program also, is we want to give him the tools, we want to give him the communication, the, you know, alternative, the skill to be able to ask for my way, instead of just getting upset and expecting that, you know, your world's going to fall apart. It's not. You can ask for my way, you can communicate, and then you can have it. And we would honor that with a functional response. So that's one indicator. It could also be an indicator if, you know, and we did actually see that happen a lot in the beginning when we were, you know, initially teaching him this program, and he wasn't as proficient. He would get upset a lot when we would, you know, stand up, clap, and start to come in. He'd get upset a lot, and we'd see a lot of, you know, just whining and chinning, because he does that a lot when he gets upset. He'll kind of like push his face So we would see a lot of that, and then once he got more proficient and he learned the My Way exchange, we saw a lot of those behaviors decrease. But you know, if we were to see that now, you know, years later, now that he's proficient, we would know, okay, we need to allow it a little bit more time for him to be an HRE. So we need to allow more time in between trials for him to get into HRE and get in his happy place. If we went through the exchange, he said My Way, and I was giving him a cab 1 or cab 2, and I said, no, not right now. We fist bumped, and then he wouldn't give it over. I would start with a gestural prompt, so I would, you know, hold my hand out like, come on, give it over. If he didn't, you know, and I'd give him 30 seconds or so, 60 seconds, to give him some time, you know, because a lot of the times it's not that kiddo's being non-compliant, he just needs a second to follow through. So I'd give him a minute, and if he didn't, then I would go in with a physical prompt and I would take the tablet and follow through with the exchange. So that's kind of how that would work. I had another question, why the clap? Why not just give him a verbal command or a verbal heads up? And it is so windy and loud out here right now. It rained all night last night, so it's like the world is just in chaos right now. But anyways, back to the clap. So why the clap? Like I said, we've been doing this program for 3 years. And kiddo was a whole totally different kiddo when we first started this program. He was very easily triggered, very easily upset, just had that rigid tendency of, you know, if anything goes away, I'm not expecting it in full, then I'm gonna get like so upset. And it was like he just couldn't help it. Like he just had this overwhelming anxiety and rigidness about him that it was like he would just come unglued, and I hated that for him. I could tell that it was something that was controlling him, and that, you know, he wasn't doing it because he was just being bad or whatever. He just couldn't help it. So this program has been beautiful for him because it's given him the tools to be able to ask for My Way, to kind of wrap his head around the fact that, you know, every time we ask you to do something, you don't have to go through with the whole thing. It could just be a short little thing and then you go back to your happy place. It's just allowed him to kind of open his mind up to flexibility. And then I also have said 1,000 times too, we did start meds around the same time we started this program, so that's helped a lot as well. But anyways, reason for the clap. Reason for the clap is because he would get so easily upset, so easily triggered. And it was something consistent that we found across the board. So regardless of if I was doing it, his therapist was doing it, his teacher was doing it, the clap was kind of like a universal language and a universal sign to him. Okay, this is about to happen. I need to prepare myself. We experimented with so many different ways to go about this exchange. You know, the ideas of the program are all the same, but you know, it can be variable and you can kind of adjust it to fit your needs. So we definitely went through a few different variations before we found what worked. Hey baby boy, it's cold out here a little bit. You want to get a jacket or a blanket? The beauty of this program is that you can deviate. I mean, the principles of the program are the same, but you can adjust it to fit your needs. And we did experiment with several different variations of this program when we were first starting. But it seemed like, as far as an introduction, as far as a, hey, I'm about to step in, the clap was the most efficient and the least upsetting for Kaidale. It just seemed to aggravate him so much less than me saying, you know, hey, okay, we're all done. Or, you know, we experimented with different phrases. The clap seemed to work the best. It was the most simple, clear, concise, consistent across the board, and he just picked up a lot quicker with the clap. So it worked the best, and it was the least aggravating for Kaidale. And also, you know, I always had the question for his therapist, well, this is kind of a, you know, elaborate exchange. It's not really real life. I mean, am I really going to do this whole exchange when we're in the middle of a mall trying to shop? In other words, when is it going to cross over into real life? When is it going to look more natural? So we are now to the point to where, and I didn't demonstrate this in the video, I just wanted to give you guys a few examples of the, you know, different exchanges of the program. But we're now to the point to where we can come in for a natural trial, is what we call it. And that's to where we don't stand up and do the clap. We just come in and say, hey kiddo, we're all done with the tablet. Let's go read a book. So it's a more natural exchange. So we've actually faded out the clap now. We still throw in the clap every once in a while just because we, you know, don't want him to lose the skill. The whole purpose of the program is he doesn't know what exchange is coming. He doesn't know what response he's going to get. We like to mix it up so that it allows for that flexibility. So now we, you know, about 50% of the time we won't do the clap. We'll just come in and say, hey kiddo, we're all done, give me the tablet. And, you know, at first when he was learning this natural, you know, kind of more natural introduction to the trial, he needed the prompt my way. He didn't necessarily understand we were doing the exchange, so we would prompt my way. Now he doesn't need the prompt. He understands, okay, I just gotta ask for my way. I don't need to rely on that clap in order to understand that I can still ask for my way. So that's really cool. He's really good across the board, and I'm just so proud of him and how far he's come. And then also, just for an example of how it's kind of crossed over into real life, I noticed a lot of non-compliance and a lot of flopping from him. You know, so if I ask him to do something, he'll just like fall to the ground and kind of go limp, which is very typical. I know, you know, that's a very typical kid thing to do. You know, my mommy's asking me to do something, I don't want to do it, so I'm gonna flop, go limp. That's very typical. So, you know, I asked his therapist, well, you know, should I do a formal exchange? Like, should I, you know, just pick his hand and guide him, you know, up off the floor? Like, what should I do? Because he is a big boy, and he is heavy, and, you know, with the communication barrier, it just always makes me kind of scratch my head. Like, am I going about this the right way? I don't know if I'm getting through to him. And so his therapist recommended just casually prompt my way and see if that helps. And I did, and it has helped so much. So now, you know, if we just do like really relaxed trials in our day-to-day life, if I'm asking him to do something, a lot of the times it's at nighttime when it's time for like the bedtime routine, and he doesn't want to stop playing with his toys or whatever. He just like won't listen to me basically when I tell him like, let's go take a shower or take a bath, whatever, and he won't listen. So he'll flop, or he won't do it. So I've started prompting my way. I don't honor it every time, but just giving him, you know, the knowledge and the skills and the tools to like know that I can ask for my way, which, you know, is like basically saying 5 more minutes home. And so, you know, I honor that sometimes, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's, no, it's too late. Come on, we gotta go. We gotta, you know, get going so we can get to bed. But anyways, the whole point is flexibility. The whole point is to try and get out of rigid routines, rigid patterns, rigid thought processes, and just allow for flexibility and give Kaidale the tools to know I can ask for my way. I can ask for, you know, 5 more minutes, and it just allows for much more smooth sailing for us. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them in the comment section, and I hope this helps. Maybe not. I'll link Dr. Hanley's, he did a seminar on his tolerance training program, and I will link, there's a couple of good videos on YouTube. I'll link them in the comment section, so if you want to check it out, you can. All right.